joining me for this discussion about KeeperAI. My name is Sarah Truman. I work in the human capital management space and I'm a member of KeeperAI's team. Can you please provide a brief introduction about yourself?
Hi, Sarah. Delighted to connect with you. And yeah, my background, early part of my career, I spent 20 years with a small company called GE. And then after that, I spent some time as a global CIO for EMC. And then recently, I joined as a global CIO for Verizon. And now I'm kind of retired. I'm on a few boards and advising some companies. And that's kind of what my gig is now. So thank you. And thank you for inviting me.
Great. Thank you. Happy to meet you. You've spent a lot of years in the C-suite. I'm very interested to hear your view on a platform such as KeeperAI. It is forward-thinking and brings that water cooler element feel to the workplace. What made you a believer in KeeperAI?
I think, it's a great question, right? So all employers have been struggling how to drive massive productivity from employees, right? They've tried to create a playground where employees want to actually come in and work and produce things and make things happen, right? So what Keeper does is Keeper is typical to its name, right? Think about the challenge that employers face is how do I keep the excitement going that the employees don't want to leave, right? And given today's market conditions, there are many choices for employees, right? Gone are the days when employees used to just work with one company for 20, 30, plus years and look for a pension and all that stuff. That doesn't exist anymore. So what employees and people are looking for is, am I really going to join this company and am I going to flourish? Am I going to learn, right? Am I going to grow, right? So, and when they don't see that, there are other choices that are available. Am I going to fit into this environment, right? Are there people like me that share similar thoughts and interests, right? And if I don't belong and I don't have a sense of belonging, I tend to leave. And what employers have to do is they spend an inordinate amount of resources training the employee, right? You're training them, you're bringing them up to speed. They have just learned and they're finally becoming productive. And then the employee doesn't feel connected and they end up leaving. So there is a huge productivity loss, for employers. So I think, back to your question, what do I find in Keeper? That is what it is, right? Creating that environment, creating that playground where employees come in, they learn, they work with each other, they are learning from each other, they are being, extremely productive, and they're engaged.
Yeah, very good. Thank you for that. You've spent many years at Verizon and GE as the global CIO. What difference would KeeperAI have made, especially in the advent of remote and hybrid work and integrations with platforms and teams in general?
Yeah, and another good question, right? So we have to look at, Keeper through a different lens. It's not another tool, right? We're just not buying another software, buying another tool. So if I were to go back in time during my GE days, before everything became so prevalent, software became so prevalent and solutions became so prevalent, GE was a very diverse conglomerate, right? And had many businesses. At one point, I think they were running, in the financial industry, they were running, I think, 20, 30 businesses, and they had industrial businesses and, with 350,000 employees globally. GE used to run something called best practice sharing, right? And it was a very manual process. You had to bring people together. They would share best practices. They would talk about, hey, what am I doing at GE Appliances? And can I, share this, with GE Power or GE Lighting, the things that I have learned here. So it was a very manually intensive effort, right? And it required a lot of investment where you had to bring people in together. So fast forward that, to Verizon days, right? When we moved from, we brought in the Google platform, right? Which was all Gmail, the full Google Sheets, Google solutions, right? And the Google collaboration tool. And we were trying to drive that sense of collaborative environment. So what Keeper, and if I had Keeper back then, this would have driven collaboration on steroids, right? This would have truly driven best practice sharing, where people would have gotten excited about working with people like-minded individuals. And when you are like-minded, yes, you challenge each other's thoughts, but you take it to a limit. But
Mm-hmm.
at the end, the product is productive, right? You're not getting into sparring sessions, and then you go in different ways. But no, you try to solve it together, on things, because you agree on many things, but you may differ on some things, versus differing on many things and just agreeing on some things, right? So that's kind of what you want to do, and Keeper actually enables that. Keeper becomes the thread that stitches those thoughts together, stitches those input from the employees together to deliver the outcome that we are looking for.
Yep. Thank you. I have one final question for you. When you were in GE, you used different enterprises for collaboration. How can KeeperAI be used in the future in these same ways?
I think, Keeper has to demonstrate that it has the elasticity, right? That you don't, the biggest challenge the enterprises face is when you customize everything. Because when you customize everything, then driving the upgrades, driving the changes becomes a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So Keeper has to have the ability to configure itself to different environments. And regardless of what tools you use, right? Whatever collaboration tool you're using, whether it's Google, Microsoft, Slack, Salesforce, it doesn't really matter. Keeper has to have the elasticity of the configurable outcome, right? That you're still using the core ability of Keeper, but you can configure it to your environment versus customizing to your environment.
Very good. Thank you. Well, thank you so much for your time. We're very excited here at KeeperAI for 2023, as our integrations will help organizations globally to leverage this platform for collaboration, innovation, and bring that water cooler feel to the company. So thank you.
Absolutely, Sarah. It was a delight talking to you. Thank you so much. And I wish you and Keeper the very best.
Thanks. You too. Thank you.
Bye.